Welcome to the Hidden Driveway Show. I'm your host, Amu, and joining me today we have a very special guest, Roadman. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
My name is my actual name is CJ. You might know me as many things. Pool, probably from Discord or Instagram. Coolest pool, cool pool, whatever. Roadman, virtual shopper, Lil Eyecrust. If you follow any of my music related shit. But yeah, I'm a guy from Kentucky who mostly likes to write, but music was just a little side quest that ended up actually going some places. That's me.
And we're going to talk about some of that today in this interview. Who would have guessed? That's like kind of what it's for when you think about it. Well, I want you to surprise me. Is there anything that you want to talk about right now to get us started?
I want to say that I've been meaning to watch a Hidden Driveway episode for such a long time, and I listened to a little bit of the Bappy one. But I had to start from the beginning, and I saw that I got a shout out, so I'm gonna give a follow up shout out to Chloe. That's gang. That's day one. And shout out to Chloe again for doing so many album covers that are probably never gonna come out. I got like 3 in the vault right now.
Yeah, I know she's done the Bob Fest one, and I know they've helped with what other ones? They did the Imposter Syndrome one too, right?
Yes, and they did OVO jams. And I didn't steal it, but they posted like a picture on Discord one time, and I thought it looked cool, so I was like, "Can I use this for a single?" I did that.
And was that the ambient one from last year?
Yeah,
like the Japanese title, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that and I was like, that's a vibe, and I made a song off of it. And yeah, and like 3 albums that don't even exist.
Well, some albums that do exist though. You've been releasing music online since 2020 through a variety of aliases like Lil Eyecrust and Virtual Chopper, as you said in the intro. And then you've been a part of multiple groups too, like BBS Gang and then Mortem Fugit. I think I'm saying that right.
I'm not entirely sure how to say it either because it's like Latin. The group name was not my idea, but I love the group name. I think it's Mortem Fugit. But again, I don't speak Latin, so I'm not sure. I took 2 years of Latin in high school, but none of it has actually stayed with me. So I think it's Mortem Fugit, which is supposed to be like dead flies.
Okay.
And also, if you don't know, like, I don't know how anyone would know because BBS Gang is really fucking dead, but it stands for, obviously I was a freshman in high school and I came up with this Big Booty Sex Gang. That's what it stands for. Just to put that out there.
Well, I'm glad I know now. But all these different aliases sound pretty different from each other. So I wanted to know, how did you first get into making music? And then who are some of your biggest influences?
So I first got into music. It's kind of a long story, I guess. I first started making music, I want to say I would like fuck around in GarageBand a lot in like 2017, just make like these awful songs that were inspired mostly like by Gorillaz. And most of that is on Silly Side of Tape, which is an awful album. Don't listen to it. There's a few good songs on there, but most of it's just like GarageBand live loops that aren't even like songs. I just press like buttons. But I did a lot of that, just like random instrumental stuff. I wasn't ever serious about it. I was just fucking around. I remember like early 2019, I was listening to a lot of Tyler, the Creator. So me and my friends, we were gonna do like a fake Odd Future thing that never went anywhere. I made like one beat for it and it was fucking dog shit. And then these are all just like little side things that didn't actually add up to anything. But I really started making music. I want to say, if we're not talking about Lil Eyecrust, serious music came about like late 2020 when I was listening to a lot of. Have you heard of Milo?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was listening to a shit ton of Milo, and I had recently joined a fan club server for him on Discord, which I think now is called. It was called a bunch of different things. I think now it's called like Poet Garden or something, and there was like a whole chat for instrumental producers and people were saying their shit and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool, I'm gonna try my hand at this. And someone someone like created like a sample pack in there, and I went in Audacity, I clicked and dragged a drum loop and clicked and dragged a sample loop from the same pack, and I sent it in the chat, and I was like, look at this beat, guys. And then the guy who made the pack was like, dude, that's not actually a song. You just took my shit, and I was like, okay, cool. But then somehow that song made it onto the compilation they did under Oddball Theater, the first one, and I don't think it's that good, but some people fucked with it enough to where my friend Slermpy, who is I'm gonna say Bodie because Bodie's their actual name, and
Hmm.
Slermpy is it always like makes me like lisp a little bit. But Bodie DM'd me a few months after I sent that file, and I think they were kind of getting into music at the time as well, and they were like, "Hey, I like your 30-second song. Do you want to make a band?" And I was like, "Holy shit, okay, I guess." And that was probably the first like serious music thing that I ever put out. There was a lot of stuff before that, a lot of like serious rapping that is never going to see the light of day because it
Hmm.
is really, really bad. I did a full cover of oh my God, what's the it's a Mac Miller song. I did a full cover of it and it's so bad. Yeah, that's never happening. But yeah, that's how I basically got started with making serious music. Well, iCrust, on the other hand, that was just like it was quarantine. I was bored as shit, and I was just like, it'd be really, really funny. I was listening, that song, "Syrup"
Oh
by
yeah, Lil AK
I
track or whatever.
listened to
Slump
that
Slump
song.
AK, right?
Yes, Love AK and Lil Rocket Launcher. I listened to that song so much that one summer, and I was like, what if I did this? What if I just took this and did that? And I did that, and that was Lil Eyecrust. And I've been trying to think of ways to bring him back for like almost 5 years now, and it never works out. You know,
Do you think you'd want to do that, like, I guess, like, kind of like meme rap stuff in 2025? Because I feel like it is kind of played out
it's
at this
really
point.
it's very played out. And then even people are already doing like I feel like the funny stuff that people are still doing in rap. The creatives, everyone's beating me to it. Like Miles, like I could have been Miles. I wanted to do shit like Miles. Didn't happen. I could have. I don't know if people talked about this. Well, I don't know if Chloe's talked about this, but me and Chloe were trying to get a Miles feature,
Oh, I
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
year ago, and the feature price went from like 100 to like 500 after that fucking song like Four Wheeler some shit popped off, and he went, and now he's been on a he was fucking work with Kanye, so it's gonna cost like 10K to even book him. But yeah, it is really played out, and it's difficult because when I think about Lil Eyecrust, like there is some stuff that I've done, like mostly features, and I'm like, okay, this was actually kind of decent. It would be fun if I like, like how Zach Fox is like, he's funny with his raps, but he's like, it's still good.
Hmm.
Like, you're still nodding your head along to it, even though it's making you laugh. That's what I wanted to go for, but it's difficult for me to like be funny and also be serious with it at the same time. I don't know. There have been many, many like comeback albums in my head. I've created a whole lore for it, but I don't know if it's going anywhere.
I think it would be cool though. Maybe if you somehow like mixed it with your vaporwave stuff.
That is, I have a lot of I have a lot of beats that my friends sent me that I'm sitting on. I have been sitting on for so long. I have a song with A Hype that I've been sitting on, and they all kind of sound like that. They're very like vapor sounding cloud kind of songs. But my thing is like part of the reason why I got into vaporwave is because I can't do drums. I'm so bad at them. I don't know how people do it. So making like actual beats doesn't work
Hmm.
for me usually.
And then maybe any other like influences you've had.
The big one, which is very obvious to anyone who's like familiar with my work and like any other vaporwave album, is Telepath,
Hmm.
obviously. So discovering Telepath was a major game changer for me in my life, and people, I don't even talk about it anymore. But anytime I have like a music opinion in a group chat I'm in, they'll be like, "Shut the fuck up! You listen to Telepath." I don't even talk about it anymore, but I guess I was really annoying about it last year. I did like a whole discography deep dive thing. I listened to like all like 162 of his
Hmm.
albums, I think, and that took like 3 months of like everyday listening. But yeah, that is a massive influence because Bobfest was probably I think Bonfest was my first vaporwave thing I ever did, and that kind of just came from the simplicity of finding like older songs and like splicing them up, slowing them down, which is what vaporwave is. And I didn't even know vaporwave like that at the time, but like shortly after that album came out, I listened to my first Telepath album. I'm like, holy shit, this is like the best thing I've ever heard, and it really blended into my work with Imposter Syndrome and OVO Jams, very obviously, and a lot of the other singles that dropped around the time. Very, very influenced by Telepath. And a lot of my, as far as more unreleased stuff, I would say a lot of my early unreleased work is very J Dilla inspired.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, mostly Telepath nowadays.
Would you say that like Lil Ugly Mane has been an influence at all?
Oh, yes. I don't know how I forgot him. He was also like one of the like this is a weird place to start for his discography, but I remember the first album I heard by him was Three Sided Tape Volume 1. So I didn't even know he rapped for a little bit. So I would listen to his beats all the time. So that was also I've always wanted to make like a third sided tape kind of album, which is why my stupid compilation album of old shit is called Silly Sided Tape.
Mm-hmm.
Very obvious reference. I have like I'm gonna do this real quick. I have a volcanic bird enemy poster right here, and I have the fucking banner.
You have the shirt too, right?
Yeah, yeah, I have like three shirts, and the weird thing about I also have I have a fucking patch. I don't even have a jacket, but I have a Mr. Thug Isolation patch.
Mm-hmm.
It just sits here. But I have like three shirts, and the weird thing about it is when you wear those in public, people will always ask you like they're like, "Hey, I like your shirt, man. Who made that? Is that like an artist?" And then I have to say out loud, "It's Lil Ugly Mane," and it's it is sort of shame in
Mm-hmm.
saying that name out loud. That's an artist you follow and enjoy.
Yeah, no, I have the shirt too. I have to
But
deal with that a lot.
it happens, but it looks really cool. So I'm willing to take that. But yeah, major influence and the serious stuff that I wanted to do as Lil Eyecrust, a lot of that was like last year, no, maybe it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I wanted to do an album called like The Death of Lil Eyecrust, like a heavy concept album. Very, very inspired by his song Grave Within a Grave.
Mm-hmm.
And like all like the stories and the personas he would have like with young Gus and all that, like that shit was so cool to me. I wanted to do that. I think I got as far as like writing some lyrics and making like one beat, but that didn't pan out. But yeah, major influence as well, especially for my rapping side of things.
Mm-hmm. And then, are there any artists that you specifically don't like? Because I know there's quite a few you have like a vendetta towards.
Oh God, yeah. I'm a little petty sometimes. Xavier's so based. All of 1C. I'm sorry, I can't stand it. I can't stand the entire genre. I don't understand it. It has never been for me. Like there have been a few songs in that kind of vein that I'm like, I listen to it and I'm like, okay, this isn't terrible. Most of the time, I just feel like really fucking old listening to that shit, and I'm just Jerk is not for me. Most of the time, Plug is not for me. All that kind of stuff. Now, my opinion might change because, believe it or not, like 4 years ago or something, I hated Blade. I couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand any of Drain Gang, and now he's one of my favorite artists. And I feel terrible that I even had that awful opinion. So, who knows? Maybe one day. I hate Shed Theory.
Well, that's deserved though.
Yeah, that kind of goes into the Plug thing, and yeah, I'm glad you agree with me on that because the beats are nice, but like I can't stand how all of them just like do this like whisper moan thing over the beat, like Marlon and Joey. I can't stand it, and they have good features. Like Joey has this one song with RX Poppy that I listen to a lot, but I skip it after Pop's done because because I don't need to hear that bullshit. Yeah, those are probably the current vendettas that I hold. Oh, also, this is all kind of like the same scene, but Acid Soldier and Christ Dillinger, can't stand them. I want them like publicly executed. they're vile.
Jeez, okay.
Because Christ Dillinger, he just comes on the song. He's like a dollar store nephew to me because he just like he tries. He'll say the same shit that Neff does, but it's not funny. It doesn't. You don't nod your head. He just talks.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't put any effort. He's like, me and my bitch just pulled up in a 40. I'm smoking on 40. He just does that shit. I don't get it.
Mm. I thought it was funny you said that because the last person I interviewed was Ty Cox, who's worked with Acid Soldier like a bunch.
And no shade because you get your bag and all that, but I can't stand Acid Soldier. The voice just it gives me a headache.
Mm-hmm.
And something about him just he has like this irritating gremlin aura to me.
Oh, have you heard Dead Theory by A-Hype?
I haven't actually. I've been meaning to get into his music more, but it's like, where the fuck do you start?
Yeah, that's. I have to interview him soon, and I have no idea like what to even listen to, because like I usually try to do like people's like full discographies to like prep for it, but like that's not happening with A-Hype. Like, there's no way.
You can't do that.
But like,
no, yeah, I mean, shout out to that man's work ethic. That's insane.
Yeah, like there's like Meet the Grams and then there's Dead Theory. Like, that's how much he hates Dead Theory.
I need to listen to that. I think me and him could really bond over that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was never a Shed Theory fan, but I like Marlon Dubois stuff like early 2023, and then I found out about all the like Sam Hyde stuff, and after that I was like, yeah, I don't need to listen to that.
Dude, yeah. There was like a whole website that got posted last year that was like, I don't know if you saw it, but
I did,
like
yeah.
everybody in Shed is so fucking weird. It's Sam Hyde. It's like I unfortunately know quite a bit of people that are like that will defend him. They're like, oh my god, he's not a Nazi. It's he made some fucking jokes, but he's like guys donated to white supremacists like bail fund. So personally, I also think Cemetery is very corny, but I think his reasons for hating Joey are very valid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what was the one picture where he's like looking away, and they're like, "Why won't you talk to us?"
Oh, that was really embarrassing. I can't lie. I cringe so hard looking at that, and I can't.
I don't know. Plus, their whole vibe
I can't
is
imagine
also
what that
just
party
like,
must have been like.
Yeah, it's just like tweakers, and they're just constantly like, just like geeked out of their mind. Like, it's just not a good image.
Yeah, the way Joey posts just kind of pisses me off. Like, he doesn't seem like a real person. He seems like kind of a magical creature. And I know that's what he's going for. But I personally, I don't like when artists are like, I hate when my artists try to be like mysterious or have like aura or whatever. I can't stand it. Like, if you just like talk to your fans like a normal person, I have so much more respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just posting weird ass selfies and be like, soon.
Mm-hmm. Moving on, we talked about it before, but one influence that shines above the rest is Telepath, who actually did a full discography deep dive earlier last year. So, what draws you so much to vaporwave as a genre, and what is your process like for creating it?
Oh, okay. I'll start with the first part. Vaporwave to me, there is something like I know a lot of people probably find the aesthetics of it very like corny and overdone, and they are, but I kind of love it. It's like people who are really into horror movies, for example. I'm doing that because I saw Terrifier 3 last night. They know it's corny and they know it's like really stupid, but they love it anyways. And vaporwave kind of has that feeling to me. It's very it's like comfort music to me. It's very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like if I need to, especially in high school, everyone around me just irritated me so much that I just needed something to just like completely shut off the world and like turn my brain into zombie mode. And that is what vaporwave does for me. That is what the majority of my music was created for, just to like sleep to or just turn your brain off to, study to, whatever. Just like, background music. And I think there's something really beautiful to me about like taking something old and like slowing it down, like looking. It's kind of like looking with a microscope and like seeing the unique like sound patterns that are unearthed by the process of like basically chopping and screwing it. And I really discovered that with like I did Lagoons for Bobfest. I forgot like every sample that I used for like every song I made, but I remember that the original version sounded so different. And like I just took the file, put it in Ableton, and the first thing I did was just slow it down like by like 12 times, and I was like, there's so much like texture here that you would never hear before, and it was really cool to me. It was like it's like musical like archaeology, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love the and when you put it on the right kind of vaporwave to me, you'll feel like you're just drifting off in this like massive pool for all of eternity. That's what Telepad does for me, and
Mm-hmm.
it is a wonderful, wonderful vibe. It's just comfort music to me. And as far as creating it, I don't necessarily have a special process. I remember Osglor asked me this one question last year, and I made him a whole tutorial video. But my process is basically, I look for songs that, I'm in the mood for to slow down. Mostly it's like, I try not to be too cliche and use like Japanese city pop because,
Mm-hmm.
what vaporwave producer isn't using Japanese city pop. But I try to find something, usually like kind of like jazz or like new age, pretty pretty synth heavy stuff is what I'm usually going for, or like synth or sax, very smooth vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And I chop it up as needed. I don't overdo it because I'm not the best at that, but I slow it down. I have a bunch of like different phasers and VSTs and fucking oh my God, what's it called? What do they call it? There's the phasers and then there's the other
The
thing.
flanger.
Yes, the flanger. That's right. Um, yeah, my process honestly isn't that exciting. It's mostly like to me, it's just like finding the right sample. Like you know it when you hear it. Like you put for me at least, I'll be like scrolling through a playlist and then I'll find one thing and I'll just like hear the potential in my mind. And I'm like, holy shit, this is the one.
Mm-hmm. And
But yeah, what I do is very easily replicable.
and how do you determine your song lengths? Because like I know Seeds Follow Me is like half an hour long, and it's just the same loop like throughout. So what makes you decide? Look, let's make it this length when it doesn't have like when it is just like a loop going throughout, even though it's like really
Yeah.
calming.
So that if you are familiar with like Telepath's work, especially the Virtual Dream Plaza side alias, that is basically all Virtual Dream Plaza is. It's basically like a 1 minute loop or so with like a little bit of a bridge, and it keeps like repeating and repeating. And sometimes there's like a transition in sound, but it's like 30-minute songs slash albums. They're albums on Rate Your Music. To me, they feel like just songs that are eventually composed into the grand 14-hour album and then the other 14-hour album. But yeah, that was just a direct rip off of VDP because I remember I was really bored. It was like the morning before I was going to like this like shadow at like a law firm. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? I have some time this morning. I didn't have school that day. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a 30-minute song. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do a VDP. And I did it. That's how that came about. The rest is more like I guess it's like as long as it feels right. I
Mm-hmm.
go for the longer end a little bit with songs like Bed Rot is like 12 minutes long, but that to me, as the title suggests, was a song to like just sit in your bed and just be like to. And that when I make songs like that, when I want to listen to songs like that, I want long, like really droning stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when it comes to length, it's about what I would want in a song.
That's fair, yeah. And I do think your songs serve the purpose that you intend them to. Like, I think I told you when this happened, but there was a day last year where I was just having like a really bad day, and then I went back to imposter syndrome, and I just felt like all my like stress just like vanished like the moment I heard Save Point.
That is, yeah, Save Point was yeah, it does have that vibe, like the Save Point, kind of just like kind of a cleansing little reset. It's nice. I'm happy that Chloe was a really big fan of that song too. I remember like she was playing it like over and over again, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, it's so weird having someone like be such a fan of something you make because
Yeah.
I'd spent like the last like when that album came out, I spent like the last 4 months being like, is this trash? Did I fall off? I always do that. I don't think I've ever released an album and been like, this is a banger until people start calling it a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but you probably will very soon if you haven't already. But being on someone's toaster is a really bizarre experience. Like, my friend who's like, he's listened to like 10,000 albums and he put me over Blonde. And I was like, God damn, I really don't think I deserve that. But just knowing that someone feels that way about my music is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that it makes people feel a certain kind of way. That's the goal.
Yeah. I haven't had that happen, but I did like name search myself and saw some like random person found my EP. And it's just weird that like I exist like outside of myself, if that makes sense.
I know you kind of have like a public presence a little bit, and I mean, especially now that you're doing a podcast interview kind of thing, and it's just like, damn, that is so weird because when I'm making these songs, it's just like they're just like audio files to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like weird that you can be like perceived by other people. And then on T's Follow Me, I had an exam on Tuesday and I was stressing over it. So, and I got up early, I listened to that song on my way to like go to the library to study for like extra time. And again, like immediately, like all my stress was just like gone. So,
It does have that. See, this is why that song in particular, the sample comes from Mario Sunshine. But when I look for samples, one of the first things I look for is like underwater level soundtracks in video games because that's always gonna hit.
mm-hmm.
Always gonna give that amazing like cleansing feeling.
And it's just something that draws you to that like specific like sound, I guess.
I think to me, I get really overwhelmed like with my surroundings a lot. I don't know if I have something going on. A lot of people in my life have told me I probably have autism. I'm not trying to claim that because I've not gotten tested, but usually it's really nice for me to just have like a soothing like noise cancel, sensory cancel kind of thing. Like when I in my senior year, it was this rough year of high school. I just get back from school. I would just like turn the lights off. That's another thing. I hate the big light. That son of a bitch back. He's never on. I would just turn all the lights completely off and just like blast vaporwave in my headphones until I was like asleep. So it's really just like audio melatonin is what it is to me. And there is something about listening to that and making that is really, really captivating. And when I find like a really good ambient album on Rate Your Music, I need to make a list for that, like a list of all the albums that are just that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, big fan of mindless dishwasher music over here.
Yeah, I have been trying to get into that more recently with like my own stuff. So I do look at like what you make, try to like replicate that feeling a little bit, because like Safe Wind is also like one of my favorite songs to yours, and I go back to that a lot to try to like replicate how that makes you feel.
Yeah, I will say that was a pretty easy song to make. It's a pretty straightforward sample. It's like it's again you got to find like a really obscure video game. Like I forget which one that was, but it's like a really really weird one for like the PS1 with like a bunch of bugs or something,
Mm-hmm.
and like all the songs sound like that. There's also like this fishing simulator for the PS1 that was a gold mine for a lot of that. I think that's Flying Fish actually. And then I made like three beats out of the same song when I was like a few years ago from that fishing simulator. But yeah, it's a nice feel. I love to make chill music. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Moving on. The first song on your album, Live at Bopfest 2022, is called Sands of Time, right? Which just refers to like that term is like time passing. And whenever I see your Instagram stories on your personal account, it feels like you're an archaeologist of sorts, but instead of finding like T-Rex bones, it's old Instagram memes from like 2018 that I just like completely forgot about. So, what were some of your favorite
Yeah.
old like memes slash like trends?
Oh my God. There's a lot of these. I can look. Oh, I can look at my account. I can just scroll down and I can see so much shit. There's a lot of shit that was archived because it was like actually I'll pull up the very first thing because I had Instagram way too early. My parents let me get it way too early. It was like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been there for like basically the entire reign of the app. I was there when people were like, Instagram is shutting down. You have to reshare this or your account's gonna get deleted. And I always did that. So I've been there thick and thin. Okay, let's see. I think it's yeah, archive. Good God. But I was really big into the fucking stupid like do you remember the E thing?
Oh yeah.
I loved that kind of shit. And my parents followed that account. They still follow the account. I just have them like story blocked. But they would just see that and they'd be like, "What is this supposed to mean? How is this funny?" And I'd be like, I don't really know. It just is."
Were you a fan of the big like the red bee?
I remember I browsed r slash memes a lot in middle school, and unfortunately, it was a terrible subreddit. But I remember they banned the usage of that emoji, and I went out of my way to DM the head mod. Like I was like, "Yo, bruh, why'd you ban the bee emoji?" Yeah, I was unfortunately that one was in my library a lot. Yeah, I'm going back. There's so much shit on here. There used to be a lot of people don't know this. There was like for like 2 weeks, maybe even like one week, we had multiple admins on this page, which is weird because this is like semi my personal account,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't present it as such. But I don't use my actual personal account. Like I never use that. Okay. Now we're getting a little. Okay, like look at this dumb shit. I don't know.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, that is definitely like 2018.
Yeah. Just like if there was fucking like non-English text, I would lose my shit.
Mm-hmm. And it's like deep fried a little bit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Let's see. I think we're getting to the they did surgery on a grape thing. Yeah, there we go. That was November 2018. We have the Bob and Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember that classic? Uh, we have if you
I
just
was
remember
thinking
the
of that one,
general
yeah.
genre of this kind of shit.
Wasn't it
And
also like Ultra Instinct Shaggy was a thing?
yeah. I don't know if I ever posted any Shaggies, but I mean, I got pretty fucking close. I mean, this is apparently I think it's like Gary from SpongeBob like hitting a deep squat with Kim Jong Un,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like 30 illegal photos smuggled out of North Korea. Um, this was my one of my first original contents back when. If you remember when the presidential alert went out about Hawaii getting blown
Oh
up,
yeah.
I thought it'd be so funny if I made one where Donald Trump was saying that he's going to come to your house to play Roblox with you, and that's not funny at all. Oh my God, this one we got Mr. Skeletal. You got to thank Mr. Skeletal for his help for healthy bones and calcium. I mean, this was like fucking band kid shit,
That's
and I
like
was
peak
never a
middle
band.
school though.
It is peak middle school. I got a Fortnite themed Club Penguin meme. Where are we dropping, boys?
Mm-hmm.
Classic shit. I got all this off Reddit. This one we got Yoda hitting the dab here.
This one I haven't seen. Okay, this is fresh to me.
Yeah, that was September 8th, so I guess I missed the anniversary on that. And there was a lot. I think this one might be OC. I was like in a really big Roman Empire phase for some reason. I talked about it a lot. It was a favorite subject of mine, which nowadays is kind of a red flag because if someone's really into the Roman Empire, you kind of assume that. I mean, I assume at least that they're a fascist, a little bit, or at least very racist. But
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was cool, but some of these guys are like, we need to bring back the Roman kind of men,
Mm-hmm.
wipe the earth of these plagues. But yeah, that was the beginning of my online persona, and sometimes I really wish it wasn't.
I feel like that's kind of an essential, just like growing up on the internet. Though I feel like everyone was like that.
Yeah, it is. There's Oh my God, my favorite I think was do you remember like the Etruscan boar vessel or something? Okay, maybe you'll remember it, maybe you won't. It was like a 1 month thing, but boar vessel was very, very important to me. So this was the joke right here.
Yeah, I haven't
It
seen
was
that
just
before.
it was just like a random like ancient pig thing that they found in a museum, and so here we got some of this going on.
Dude, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
I don't really either. It's just a lot of boar vessels like pasted onto each other. If boar vessel wore pants, which way would he wear them? Shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really, really bizarre because someone just saw like this funny thing in a museum and it's like, you know what, I gotta tell all my friends about this, and then they made purses out of it. See, that was probably my favorite,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. This is why I don't post memes anymore because I would look because in like 2 years I'm gonna look back at my memes from right that I'd be posting right now and I'd be like, holy shit, shut the fuck up. That's what I do right now.
I think the last meme of that like kind was like the Area 51 memes.
Those were bad. I think at that point I had like grown out of it and I was able to look at it from a little bit of a distance and be like, what are we doing here? Or especially like all those memes with PewDiePie in them when like that one really annoying era where PewDiePie had like such a grasp over the meme community. It was awful to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah, I was
Never
thinking
watched the
about it
guy.
recently. The like PewDiePie versus T-Series thing was really just like racism when you think about it.
That was horrible. I mean, he said like I'm a blue eyes white dragon, you're a dark magician. Like it was just like full on Nazi shit. And then like you connect follow that up with I don't remember if he said the N word
No,
before or
oh
after that,
yeah,
but it was like the same time period. And it's like when I think about that, I'm like, if that's so like no one accidentally says that. Like if that's casually coming out of your mouth, you say it enough to be part of your vocabulary. So I'm like, why does he still have a platform? Like of all the people that have gotten like taken down for shit they've done in the past, like why is he still around? I don't know. But that was bad. Bitch
mm-hmm.
Lasagna was bad.
Oh, that was a whole other era to like Asian Jake Paul and like all of those.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really ashamed to have ever watched iDubbbz, but I remember last year, I think it might have been last year or like 2 years ago, he came out with like a whole apology video and he was like, and everyone gets so mad at him still because he's like he abandoned his cool ways, but I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? Yeah, is that a thing? Okay, I don't know what's selling that, but everyone gets on him for like basically growing up, and I'm like, I mean, I don't keep up with him anymore, but I saw the video and I saw that he's like hanging out with Tana Mongeau again or whatever her name is, and I don't know if I mean, she seemed to be kind of a weird person, but it makes me happy to see people like changing and growing up, and they're just like, oh, he's a fucking loser cuck. He used to be cool, man. I'm like, yeah, he used to be racist. I used to be annoying as shit, just coming after people. Like some of the people definitely deserved it. Like Keemstar and Leafy, they were horrible, horrible people. But I think some of the earlier content cops were just people like minding their own business and just happening to make like really silly videos. And I'm like, I feel the same way with the Leafy stuff. Like, why are you wasting your time getting mad about someone just making inconsequential shit?
Mm-hmm.
So ridiculous. But yeah, that whole era of YouTube was like it was like the prime of YouTube as far as when I was watching it, but it was so bad. I don't think I've kept up with a YouTuber in years.
Yeah, no, but I would. like I'm ashamed to admit it, like I was a big like Leafy fan. And I watched like Grade A, Under A, and
No,
stuff.
yeah, I was too. I watched all those guys. I thought they were so cool. But then you look back on it and you're like, these are grown ass men who just like spent their entire like they made a lifestyle out of hating on children who were being cringy on the internet.
That was Mr. Beast
What?
too, because he had like the worst intro series.
I was not actually aware of Mr. Beast until like a few years ago when he started like doing all the challenges and shit. I remember my friends would talk about him back in the day. But yeah, he really pulled off the fucking like he transformed his whole image, and now people don't even like most people don't even know who he was before like all the stupid challenges and the prime and all that
Hmm.
shit.
Yeah, I remember, and I think a lot of this is just because of the era of the internet. But when like items like went to Tana Mojo's like thing
Oh
to
my
like say the
God.
N word because she was saying the N word, and somehow him saying it was like good and her saying it was bad, and everyone was just like yeah, like and like sided with him, even though
I
they
know
did the
that was
same thing.
insane. I don't know how like that was supposed to be like an epic own. I thought it was at the time, but I don't know why. I mean, I was 12 and I thought it was like you tell her, man. But his whole logic was like if one slur is bad, you can't say any of them. I'm like that doesn't make sense because they're all completely different words that are used to like put down so many different groups of people and it's like they have like real historical context and if your logic is just like well if I can't say this word you can't say it either it's like why are you like making such a big deal out of not being able to say one word in the vocabulary it was insane to me but yeah I don't know how people were on his side for that I don't know how I was because she was being a little weird in that whole thing too. Like I know she said it before as well. I remember that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean someone should sneak into your little conference event thing and just grab you on the shoulder and just say a slur. That is I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
I forgot, was that before or after the Rice Cream Content Cop? Because I think that probably helped like elevate him.
The Rice Gum was the last one. I
The
remember
last
this.
one, okay.
Yeah, that was like his grand finale of racism and all that. And Rice Gum sucked too. But so I'm glad that both of them have relatively fallen off.
Mm-hmm. Moving on though. So speaking about Bob Fest, or you're set for it, the visualizer has a lot of footage from various Wii games. And I saw that your
Yeah.
artist playlist on Spotify all of like Super Mario 64 like covers for them. So what are some of
Yeah.
your favorite video game related memories?
Ooh, the Wii was very, very crucial part of my childhood. I would I would wake up at like 5 a.m. on school mornings just to play Lego Batman. And I got to the point in that game where I had like 10 billion studs because I would just keep playing the levels over and over again. And yeah, Lego Batman, that was a classic series for me. I remember when Lego Batman 2 dropped, that was a game changer because that was the first game in out of all the Lego series that had voice acting. And before they were just going like whoop, whoop. They were just miming the whole time. Lego Star Wars Complete Saga was also very critical part of my child. Those two Lego games in particular were massive. Let's see. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, absolute classics for me. I would play the shit out of those. Mario Galaxy is on. I think that's the Lagoons visualizer. Mario Kart, obviously, play the shit out of that as well. Super Hit Mario is one game. I feel like that game is crucially underrated because a lot of people were hating on it because it wasn't like a traditional RPG like Thousand Year Door is, and it was more of a platformer with like regular Mario gameplay with still like Mario RPG kind of writing. But I love that game so much. It was like I remember when I was a kid and it came out, it was like revolutionary to me because I was like, holy shit, you don't have to rescue Princess Peach anymore. You actually get to play as her. And you get to play as Bowser. That was crazy to me. Now, there was a lot of other games that did that I just weren't aware of, like Bowser's Inside Story. I was not aware of that because I was a Wii kid, was not a DS kid. My parents were like, everybody around me had a DS, and I really wanted a DS, but I already had a Wii, so my parents were they were gonna let me do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Wii Sports also Wii Sports Resort, which is also on the visualizer. I played that shit all the time. It got to the point where my grandma got like a second Wii for her house, and the only games that were there were like all the Wii Sports games, and then just like a few random ones, like the Mega Mind tying game, like the shovelware shit. She had a bunch of those too, but yeah, I played Wii Sports Resort to death. I remember when you first start Wii Sports Resort, you jump out of a plane and then you see like all your Mii's around you that you made, if you made enough Mii's. And I had basically made a Mii for every single human that I knew, and it also a few fake ones. So that was a crazy moment to me. I'm seeing my grandma like link hands with my best friend, and I'm like, wow, this is like this is peak.
Mm-hmm.
And change my whole perspective on fiction and media. Blew my mind. Um, Minecraft, obviously. Um, I played the shit out of Minecraft. So I was like consistently playing it like for 10 years. That and Terraria at the same time. My my parents and like I would very often hang out with my parents' like friends, families, like my parents would have like friends that had kids in my class that we would just hang out at like restaurants or their houses for like hours straight while they like got to be rid of us for a little bit and drink.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just all get our little iPads together and just like play like the really really ancient version of Minecraft Pocket Edition and Terraria Mobile Edition together. And my first few YouTube videos under my really cringy account that I can't delete because I forgot the password. There's a lot of Terraria gameplay that I was using a screen recording program, but I was like, I want to say like 10, and it was really stupid. So I thought the screen recording, I thought that that would pick up my mic. So I
Mm-hmm.
was doing a whole Let's Play kind of overlay for it. But if you actually go back and watch the videos, there was no audio. It's just gameplay. And it's just like 15 minutes of me like running around and killing the occasional goblin. Awful. And Minecraft, I made, I mean, as a kid, I made so many creative worlds, but during quarantine, I think I went to like 10 different servers of just like survival factions that always went disastrously wrong. I mean, I remember one time, and this is so stupid, but there was like I think it was like the third one, and this guy who me and him were like we were like best friends before quarantine, but over quarantine we started really fucking hating each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like he's the one guy in the Minecraft server who's always fucking with everybody and just wants to blow up everyone's bases, but doesn't want to get banned, so he just like teases people. And eventually he attacked me and my guys' castle. So while we waited till he was in the Nether, if you're familiar with how Minecraft works, and we went to his portal and we just encased it in a solid like coating of lava. And the second he went back to the overworld, he started burning to death. So we immediately left the game. We basically had him hostage, and while he was gone, we didn't blow up his base because that would be too easy. We went by and like mined it brick by brick and started planting trees to the point where there was never even a base there. So when he joined, it was just pure nature, and that was probably the pettiest thing that I've ever participated in Minecraft. And also, shout out to Evie, I think it was for the KG Minecraft server, I think, which was almost 2 years ago now, which is crazy. Me and my buddy Matthew and it had this amazing city. This is probably my greatest achievement in Minecraft. It was really nice. And if the server went longer, 'cause it got to the point where me and him were like the only people playing for like 3 weeks, and then they eventually just got shut down. I paid out of pocket to keep the server up an extra month because I was having that much fun. But my God, what was the one black and white cat that they kept sending back in the day? You remember what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
did it have like kind of like yellowish eyes?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can picture it. Yeah.
Okay, I forgot his name, but we made the city was named after him, and it's like on the tip of my tongue. But you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That was our icon. That was our mascot, our god. And I remember this was during the telepath Discog listen. I would spend hours making like a little dirt road connecting spawn and our base, and I don't even know who I did it for because we didn't go to spawn. No one even got on the server anymore. It was ridiculous. But yeah, me and that guy have like made many Minecraft projects together, and every once in a while, I still feel that like hunger inside me to keep playing Minecraft. But it's low key boring as shit nowadays, at least.
I feel like you have to have like a squad to do it with.
You do. You have to have like the problem is you have to have like a semi large like group of consistent people who are going to get on like at least like 2 or 3 times a week because what I have always craved is like a Minecraft server with factions and like big enough to like start like cities and like societies and like lore and all that. I've always wanted that. I played on this one server a long time ago that was like kind of like that and it was amazing and I've been trying to revive it ever since and it never quite happens because I don't get enough people. I don't get enough people who are on the same type of timing as me. And people have busy schedules and all that and sometimes I wish I was just a Minecraft YouTuber so I could just set aside like a certain time and just get paid to play it. But yeah, it's tough to have fun in if you don't have the right people.
Hmm. Yeah, I had like a LAN server during finals week last year with like all my college friends, and we would play in people's dorms until like 5 in the morning every day for like a week.
Damn, and that's like peak life right there. Like you'll never be happier than that.
Hmm.
In my experience, like a true Minecraft server, that is the way the game was meant to be played. And now that I've experienced that, it all pales in comparison.
Hmm. Another thing you reminded me of was I was obsessed with the me parade for some reason. Like when you would put your me's into like purgatory and you'd like put them
Yeah,
in there and you just kind of forget. I would purposely make some because I think I forgot what the cap was, but there was a limit for like your plaza, but not for the parade. So I would just make like hundreds of me's and throw them in there and just like watch them for hours and just like run.
that's kind of like a little bit sadistic, but I really fuck with that. I yeah I was making so many to the point where I had like some where I would just do like I remember Billy Bob was a really common name I used. Most of them were named like some variation of like Billy Bob Senior, Billy Bob Junior, Billy Bob like XXXYYYJJJ. It got really excessive.
Hmm.
Yeah, big fan of the me's.
I think I just like watching like NPCs like just like move around. Cause in Minecraft, I would always make a super flat world and find like an area where there's nothing there, and then make this like maze made out of doors, and then I would spawn like probably like 100 villagers like in the middle and just like observe what they would do.
Dude, you would be like such a good like lab rat examiner. Just watch them run around for the cheese.
Oh, I wanted an ant farm really bad when I was younger too.
That makes sense. You seem like an ant farm kind of dude, and that's good. It's a good thing.
Hmm. I would always watch them at like walk around on like the sidewalk in front of my school.
It is interesting how they have those little societies. I saw it. A friend sent me this one like video about how like ants can actually revolt against the like this one like this one like test study that watched like an ant colony like rise up against the queen and kind of like start a little democracy. I don't know if it was real or not. It felt like a video that very well could have been like like a dumbass shit post, but if it is real, that's so cool.
Hmm.
I love stuff like that.
I don't know. It just makes me appreciate like I don't know. I'm easily entertained, so if I can just watch stuff like just kind of exist like on its own, like that's like the best thing ever for me.
It's fun to be an observer.
Hmm. I don't know if you're like a big like people watcher person, but like that's like a big thing for me
I
too.
I definitely am. Um, I'm working on I'm working on writing a lot of stuff right now, but one of the main things I'm working right now is like a short story collection. And I went to Ireland in June, I think, and yeah, it was June. And one of the things I did to get ideas was I would just like people watch like on the bus or something. I would listen for like really strange conversations or like peculiar observances. And I would just write them down like a big notes file. Like I have one quote that was just I was walking in the park in Dublin, and I heard this amazing quote. I heard this Irish girl go, "I've actually kissed a Mormon before, a trans Mormon. God bless that girl. We're still friends, you know." And I'm like, God, there's so much you can do with this. Like, people are so weird and different, and just like watching them do stuff can bring you so much artistic inspiration. Like, I have another one from one of my coworkers in here over the summer. I worked at an arcade restaurant, and they had just like this guy had this one like really weird white guy had like he would just play Tupac 24/7, and he goes out of nowhere. He's like, "Man, I bet Tupac's funeral was sad as fuck, you know, with all those sad songs playing." And I was like, "Oh, this could be perfect background dialogue for some really weird story." So yeah, I people watch all the time. It's really interesting and not in a stalker way,
Yeah, no,
but
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
psychologically fascinating.
Yeah, when I was in middle school, I still use it now, but I had like a Google Doc that I would like write in every day. And I stopped doing it, but I used to have like a quote of the day where it was just like if I heard like a funny sentence, I would just like write it in there and I put like who said it. It's the most
That
it's the most like middle school shit ever, the like what I'd pick for like the quotes, but
that is awesome though, because you should low key send that to me because like one thing I worry about like if I'm writing like there's short stories that I want to write that like involve like like kids, and obviously I was a kid, but I don't remember exactly like how they talk to each other. And realism in dialogue is like I love that in shows and movies and video games. Like when people talk to each other, just like normal people talk to each other. It is like have you seen Smiling Friends?
no, but I've heard a lot about it.
Okay, that Family Guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Family Guy is like it's a really stupid show, but one thing about it is the dialogue is like so good, and not in like a good writing kind of way because it's a really shitty show, but it's just like the way they talk to each other when they like drop like Smiling Friends when they'll like be tweaking out with like their weird cartoonish voices like going over the top, and they'll just like drop the voices and they'll be like there's one bit in one of the more recent episodes where it's like, dude, you know what? I don't hang out like they're being all silly and they're like, I don't hang out with you anymore, dude. You know why? I'm like, why? Because you were like sucking on my nose, dude. Do you remember that? And he was like, oh man, I don't remember that. Like I swear to God, I wouldn't have done that. And they just keep like stammering and stuttering about this for like a minute straight. And I'm like, this is the kind of shit I love to see. Like I'm watching home movies on Adult Swim right now, and that's that kind of writing always gets me. So I would love for you to maybe send me some of those quotes because I love me a good random ass quote.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation writing is so fun to me.
I got you, yeah. And something else that means a lot to me is so you released a lot of solo work in the past, but in May of this year you and Slermpy joined forces to release Sleepyhead LP under your
Yes.
group name. How do you pronounce it? Mortem Fouget?
Yeah, I think it's Mortem to get.
Fouget? Okay. So what was the process of working on that album like?
Ooh, that was a very, very fun one for me because that was okay. So imposter syndrome is called imposter syndrome because as far like I said, the process for making my songs is very, very simple. And it has always made me I'd see like all the work that my friends had put into making their songs. Like when Chloe was making jams, like the amount of grinding and work that took to make that project, and I would look at my album, which was basically done in like 2 weeks, and I'm like, am I a real artist? I would wonder that to myself because I didn't know how to actually make a song. So when Bodie came up to me and was like, I want to do another More Than Forget thing, I was like, I don't know, because I feel like all I can do right now is just like simple sample stuff. And Bodie, the angel that they are, was like, how about you make ambient and like synth and like sample stuff and send it to me, and then I'll add drums and guitar to it, and I'll send it to you, and you can keep adding stuff. And that was kind of the process for that. Like, I would make some random demo or something, and I would send it over to them, and they'd send it back to me with some like crazy drums and guitar and like noise added, and it was awesome. Um, that took like that was a few months. I think it was like October of last year to maybe like March, and that was probably that album did not get like any attention at all. But I wish it did because that is the thing that I'm most proud of as an artist. It feels like my most complete album, and it feels good to make something that's not just another vaporwave album. It feels good to broaden your horizons a little bit musically, especially when you've been working through the same process by yourself for like 4 albums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that there was like a darker tone throughout. Was there like a reason for that?
I guess that's like Bodhi Sonic kind of things side of things like I got a little sticker here. I got a little sticker that Bodhi made of us. Actually, I don't know if that will come off of that ripping, but if you follow the Slermpy art account on Instagram, you will see that their art is very like trippy and like psychedelic and kind of like I don't want to say demonic, but it kind of reminds me of that in a really cool way. And their music kind of has this like, I mean, it kind of has this dark edge to it, especially like all the like spin-off projects and shit that most people don't know about. So that was kind of them, but also at the same time, it was kind of the general concept for the album. It's like one big like nightmare that you're trying to escape from. So, and some of the songs are like specifically like you're getting chased by a fucking dream demon was the general idea for it. So yeah, I guess it feels to me like a lot of the songs feel pretty anxiety inducing, which was kind of the point. Very different from my other music,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I was very happy to make some different shit so people wouldn't just be like, oh, there he goes again, dropping another like sleepy album. Even though this album is called Sleepyhead LP, it won't put you to sleep. It will probably jar you awake.
You know, when the drum mix came in, I forget what song it was because there's a few of them, but that caught me really off guard because I'm just not used to you having that much like energy in your music like ever.
Oh yeah. That was all Bodhi. Bodhi is so talented. I think we both came a long way from our first like EP kind of thing, but them especially just brought like so much energy to that album with all like the keyboards and the guitars and the drums and like the pedals and the noise machines and everything like and I would like say like, "Hey, what if we did this?" Or I would give like a very vague idea and they would just take it and like make it concrete and make it so real and I'm like, "Oh my God, how the fuck did you do that?" It's crazy. They are a very talented person and I still owe, me becoming a serious musician all to them and I'm very glad that the album got to happen. Hopefully another thing like it happens again soon.
Mm-hmm. And then what was your thought process for the cover art? Because that's one of those covers where it sounds exactly like how the music sounds.
That is again all of them because they are a very, very talented visual artist. I think this is the original. We have the original cover for the flood right here. This is the
Mm-hmm.
original drawing that they did, and then they did we got the back cover right here. This is like 3 years old at this point. They've always been a very talented artist visually, and oh, I got the original Tsunami print down here as well,
Oh,
I
I
think.
love that cover. Yeah.
This is like the box of tapes that I just have because they sent me so many of them. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's right here. When I first touched it, it was like chalky and coming off. Okay, so this is like some logo drawings here. Vomit 555. We got, I think this was like the back cover for it. We got these kind of characters here that I don't really know exactly what they're doing. They're just surviving the flood that happened. Yeah, okay. Here's the original Tsunami cover print. Very, very cool. I think my hands still get a little like chalky when I touch it. But yeah, that was all Slurpee. We were just going for digital, a very like psychedelic digital vibe with that. And I think that they got it across amazingly. It feels to me like what you see after you've been like scrolling on Instagram Reels for like 3 hours straight, and maybe also if you were like on some drugs of some kind, because that would
Mm-hmm.
probably enhance that. But yeah, that was all them. Very, very talented artists in like every aspect.
And speaking of that project, so like I said before, there's a much darker tone than your previous releases, and there's even a song on there called "The Nightmare." So, what are some of the like scariest dreams you've had, or just like things you were scared of in general as a kid?
Whoa. I'm scared of in general. I was a very, very scared kid of a lot of things. One thing that was, first of all, I never learned how to ride a bike because I was just scared of falling off and scraping my knees to the point where several different people have tried to teach me and they just get so pissed off that they just stop because it takes so long. Like I'll have one like 10-second burst where I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing it," and then I just fall. So, and also roller coasters were a big no-no for me. I have this really, really stupid picture, if I can find it, of me on my first roller coaster with my dad at the Kings Island Fairly Odd Parents coaster. And there's my dad, and there's me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you
I did
were.
not. Yeah, I hated it, and it took a lot. Like whenever I go to a theme park at like Kentucky Kingdom, I would never get on a roller coaster. Um, Only recently on a trip to Kentucky Kingdom that I actually attempt it, and then I was like, wow, this is actually fun. So I was roller coaster horror movies were a big one. I was terrified to watch them as a kid, and now I watch them and I'm just like, this is so corny. I don't know how I was ever scared of this shit. Like this is so obviously fake. As far as dreams, I had a lot of reoccurring zombie apocalypse dreams, which is really weird because I never watched like The Walking Dead or anything. I didn't really consume a lot of zombie related media. It was just a very frequent reoccurring dream to me as a kid. Not so much anymore, but I remember distinctly like several times where I'd wake up and I'd be like still in like zombie apocalypse mode, and I'm like, where the fuck am I? And I'm like, oh, I'm in my bed. Okay. Um, I would always have a lot of dreams like but the classic like your family dying or something, or like my sister's getting hurt because of something I did. I would have a lot of dreams like that. My dreams are usually more, besides the zombie apocalypse ones, usually a bit more like personal than like abstract scary kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as the nightmare goes, I believe that song in particular, in my head I always imagine like an Undertale villain or something. That's kind of the vibe we were going for. But the nightmare is supposed to be like, because Sleepyhead LP, it's supposed to be like a dream, but also a video game. And the nightmare is supposed to be like the final boss,
Mm-hmm.
who's like keeps coming back throughout the game and getting like scarier and more mad each time you fight him.
Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of like car crash related dreams. I don't know if you have any of those, but it's always where I'm
Um,
like,
no, I've had a car crash incident in my like I got hit by a car, so I might not be like very scared of it anymore because I've been there, done that. It is what it
well, no,
is.
mine started happening because I had one, and then I just kept getting more afterwards, and it was
Yeah.
because my and I don't even know if this is fully true, but my dad told me that if I got into another accident within the next 6 months after my first one, that I would get arrested and go to jail. So I was like terrified of even like thinking about driving after that. And I think at least like once a month I would have a dream about it. And since the 6 months has like ended, because this was last year, like I stopped having them. But that was like the first like real nightmare I've had, which is like random car accidents where I'm like not in control of what I'm doing.
Yeah, that does sound terrifying.
And it's weird because like the
I
actual accident wasn't even that bad. Like nobody got hurt. My car was fine. The other person's car got totaled. That's because they were speeding during the rain. So like,
Oh, yeah. I have scraped someone's car before, like because it was like first week of me driving, and I put my car into neutral, and I kind of just started heading towards the car, and I don't know why, but I remember not being able to stop it no matter what, and it kind of just like scraped the side of this car, and then just like slowly crashed into, not crashed, that's a very dramatic adjective. Slowly collided with like the curb at a bank at like 10 p.m. And I did not leave a note on that car or anything. I just left. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie. It's a dark moment for me.
I had
But
a friend who
otherwise,
hit
I've
like
had a good
a.
history with
Mm-hmm,
cars.
yeah. I had a friend who got in an accident because he was too lazy to defrost his his windshield in the
Oh,
morning. So he was driving to school
dude.
and he hit like a trailer that was just parked on the road because he didn't see it.
Oh my God. Dude, I always like if my window is not defrosted, I just like I don't know why, but I just like pump the windshield wiper fluid and then just like turn on the wipers as hard as I can. And most of the time it works out decent. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
And I'll but and if it's really bad, I just get out and I just scrub the damn thing down myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in Texas, so I don't have to worry with that. But I don't know what I would do if I had to drive somewhere where it was cold or if there's like another freeze here.
Oh yeah. It's not like it's not awful, but that is a very annoying. You have to like get up like 10 minutes earlier to account for that.
Mm-hmm. Plus, like I'm sure like the people here like don't know how to handle that if it did happen.
Oh
So
no, no. That's why y'all like completely shut down when that happened.
I don't think I had school for like the rest of the week, and I was doing online school, and they just canceled like everything because it was during COVID.
Damn. Canceling online school is nuts.
Something else that's nuts though. So I beat Tycox in the last episode, and this has the potential to be my longest winning streak ever. But that's up to you to decide the outcome. Because if I beat you, I would have beat 5 people in a row, and that's my longest streak ever. Or you can beat me and put a stop to it. So I was wondering if you would like to play a match of rock, paper,
Okay.
scissors. That's 2 out of 3.
Okay. I'm,
All right, you gotta close your eyes so that
I
you
have a
can't
bit
see
of a
like the. Okay.
okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, okay. You got one on me.
Wait. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, we tied.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, we tied again. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So now
okay.
we're tied,
Okay.
and this is what it all comes
Okay.
down to. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, okay. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh my god, dude.
Damn.
It's close.
I'm putting all my psychological powers into this.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, you won.
Let's go. I'm untouchable in this game.
See, that's what I thought,
They
but I
said
was
they call
proven
me rock,
wrong.
paper, scissors, school.
So I
I
think
gotta
you're.
know your opponent.
So this is the 34th one I've done, and you're the 12th person to ever win.
That's a pretty good win rate actually.
It's a really exclusive club if you can win. Like I have a spreadsheet for it. And I have like a
Yeah.
66% win rate.
I'm glad to have made it gone down a little bit.
Wow. Okay. But I can like power scale like everyone now, and you'd be up there.
Okay.
That makes you feel any type of way.
Glad to hear that. It does. Give my ego a little boost there.
Moving on. So my personal favorite project of yours is Imposter Syndrome, which you released last year in 2023. And even though
Yes.
it was only last year, that time is like super nostalgic for me when it came out because it was around when I was like towards the end of high school.
Yeah, same for me. Very, very nostalgic for
Hmm.
that period.
So, what's a period of your life that you would want to like relive or go back to if you could?
Oh, okay. So I have thought about this a lot recently. So as for the imposter syndrome period, while I am nostalgic about it, it is probably the most depressed I ever was. And I'm not saying I would not want to relive that. I had a lot of fun, and I think I kind of missed the low. Like I was stressed at the time, but I didn't know college stress yet, which is a
Hmm.
whole different beast. Because I actually had time to make an album like this. I don't have time to make an album, but as far as I would say. Probably COVID because when I think about this, I'm like, I think about like there's so many books and movies and games and albums and shows that I have not experienced, and I'm thinking, and I have no free time right now, so I just think back to a time where I had like nothing but free time, and I'm like, what was I doing? I could have like the book that I'm working on right now. I could have churned that out. I had so much time, but I was in writer's block at the time, and I could have made so many albums. I made some songs, but they sucked. But I had so much time, and just for that reason alone, I would relive COVID to like fully. I knew I would know exactly how long it was. I would fully maximize my potential. And I would also, before certain people, because I was friends with a lot of people who would eventually become really weird. COVID did that. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I knew so many people who like over COVID became like really weird people and just did me dirty in very strange ways.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it was also people just growing up and becoming weird, but I would also like sever some ties before shit got bad. But that's my answer to that question.
Do you think if you were like, 'cause you would have been what, like 15, like 16 when it happened? Like, if you had to go back to like be that age
Yeah,
again and
yeah.
not how you are now, do you think you would have taken advantage of like the time? Because I know when I was in quarantine, I didn't do nearly as much as I maybe like should have, but I'm so glad for like what I did do during that time.
I am glad for what I did because I did make a lot of memories, and there's a lot of. I mean, I played a lot of video games with my friends, and we did so much stupid shit that I'm always gonna think about. But I would have been more prepared, I guess. Like as far as like writing, like I would have started seriously writing because I've always wanted to do it, but I went through like a 3 year period of just not doing anything with it, and I would have churned out so much more material because I feel like my peers have been doing so much stuff so much longer than I have, and I feel a little bit behind in that aspect. So I would have just made more stuff. Like I didn't do enough stuff because I was scared, I guess, and now knowing like all the stuff that I've done now and all the people I know who have done crazy stuff, I would have done more stuff and made more connections. And I'm working on it right now. I'm still doing all that, but I don't know. I just would have done more. And also, my dad did this thing where during COVID, if when there was no people in the parks, he would just take us to the parks and we would just hang out and walk around. And I would have done that way more because I would think back on that, and that's like some of my favorite memories from COVID because it was just so peaceful
Mm-hmm.
and like so surreal, like walking around and there's literally no one around and you're just listening to music and it's very peaceful, but it's also like kind of unsettling to an extent.
Yeah, like, do you remember the first week of lockdown when there was like nobody on the roads anywhere?
Dude, the first week was I remember the day before everything shut down for good, like when we were saying like, oh, we're gonna go on a 2 week little spring break or something. I remember I said to my friend, wouldn't it be funny if we didn't come back like ever? And I just think about that a lot, and I'm like, holy fucking shit! I remember the last day, it felt so apocalyptic. Like they were like my grandma. I came in the living room after school, and my grandma was watching like the governor's broadcast, like and it was scary shit. And my dad was like, "Okay, I don't think you're gonna be able to get a haircut for a long time, so we're gonna go right now." And I did that, and then everyone in there was talking about like, "Are we gonna see each other again?" And and then in the barber shop, I saw my ex girlfriend who is now my current girlfriend again, and that was really crazy because that was the first time I'd seen her in like 3 years, and the whole day just felt so like bizarrely important and very very apocalyptic. So that was just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The whole week, I played a lot of Animal Crossing. I remember that, and I watched a lot of Community. That was my takeaways from the early onset.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you ever have like one of those like bad haircuts where your parents had to do it for you during COVID?
No, unfortunately, well, I think my mom might have did it once, but she was actually pretty decent at it. Unfortunately, though, I did this thing where I kind of I didn't shave for the first like 2 months of quarantine. I just because I wanted to see what it looked like when I my beard was at full capacity. It was really, really bad. It was like I took a selfie, and it was such a stupid looking picture that it eventually became like my friends would just spam it over and over and over again, and they just made it an emoji on our Discord server, and it became like a reaction image. It was dreadful. So I didn't have a bad haircut, but I had a really bad beard.
I've been there. Like, during it was winter break 2019, so going into 2020. But I tried just like letting my facial hair grow out the whole winter break, and there's this awful picture of me with like a mustache that I just do not like looking at.
Yeah, I'm mustaches are rough. Mine comes in um so my actual beard comes in like brown, but my mustache for some reason comes in like very peach fuzz, like blonde color, so you can't really see it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I kind of have a beard, but definitely is a mustache, but you just can't tell. So it looks really weird, and I try to shave as much as I can because when it actually like starts to grow out, there's like a 3 day period where it looks kind of cool, but then it just looks like really rugged, and I have the crazy redditor neck beard, so it's all gotta go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my hair grows really fast, so I always shave it like daily because by the end of the day I can see it and it's
Yeah,
like doesn't. I don't like how it
yeah,
looks.
mine too. Mine too. I really wish it didn't,
Plus, like I'm so pale
but
that like you can see it like really clearly.
oh yeah,
What else from COVID? Yeah, I did play a lot of Animal Crossing also. Like I think until like from like March until June, that's like all I did.
yeah, I did a lot of that, a lot of Fortnite, a lot of Minecraft, as I talked about earlier. I spent so many hours just doing dumb shit on Minecraft and other online games. Whatever my friends, there was a lot of GTA Online. Me and my friends would do this thing where, have you played GTA Online?
Never.
Okay, so there's this thing in a lot. It's really stupid, but you can place a bounty of like up to like 10K on like any player in the lobby's head. And what me and my friends would do is we would just all like, have you played GTA Online Solo? Not GTA Online Solo, GTA Story Mode.
Never. I haven't played GTA ever.
Okay. Okay. Well, the map, I'll just say this, the map is really fucking big. And what we would do is we would just all set like max bounties on each other and just chase each other around the map for like hours on end. And we would eventually like, it would escalate to the point where we'd have like gunfights on top of trains. Like it was like some action movie shit. And that's what we would do for hours. And they have like a mini game where it's like prawn motorcycles where you can like try and kill each other with the light that's emitting off the back of your motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
We did that so much. We just I played a lot of stupid video games, and I listened to a lot of music. That is one thing I will say I was productive in COVID for that. I listened to a lot of new albums, so it gave me kind of a little music library in my head.
Yeah, I was doing like 6 albums a day during
Yeah,
2020.
I was doing crazy numbers. I had like a whole listening log, and then I kept up with on my notes app that I eventually just abandoned when I got Rate Your Music. But yeah,
No,
I was doing some crazy
I
shit.
had that too, but I still use both for some reason, even though it's kind of obsolete to use the like Google Doc still.
It was nice. It felt kind of like personal in a way. I got to a point where it was like, so let's see, mine was kind of elaborate. So I had like a whole like emoji ranking system here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I would like tally the albums for each month and all the half of the year, and I would like bold them and format them, put emojis for my rankings, and eventually you can like I got like Rate Your Music in like September of that year, and you can see me like slowly get lazier. Like I would stop putting the emojis, I would stop formatting them, I would stop capitalizing them, and then eventually I would just like TBH just check the Rate Your Music. And I was like, fuck this shit. It was after I listened to the that one week where the two Brockhampton albums came out. I was just done, I guess.
hmm The way mine's set up is like it's not in order I've listened to them, but it's by year and then alphabetical order by the album name.
Alphabetical, yeah, that's pretty good. I have a little year organizer thing on Rate Your Music. I just tag everything by year and genres so I can sort, and it really makes me realize like I listen to so much more music from the 2010s than anything else, and I'm like I don't have like any knowledge of like pre-90s music like at all basically.
hmm
So I gotta work on that. That's a journey I gotta take on.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get more into like jazz and like dance music from that era because I really don't know
I
like
have
anything.
I really have too. I've listened to a few Miles Davis albums recently, and there's this one like on the college radio I DJ at. They have a jazz show on Sunday nights that I try and I missed it already, but I try and tune in when I can because so good. I don't know anything about jazz, but I know that it sounds good, and I want to like. I listened to a few albums back like 2020 when I was first getting into music as a whole. And I remember like thinking they were boring, but I wasn't like tapped in. Like
hmm
my frontal lobe hadn't developed enough yet. I sincerely believe that's a thing because I'll listen to shit I thought was boring or hated from that era, and I'm like, this is like the best thing ever. How did I not like this?
hmm
So I re-listen to nowadays I re-listen to more albums than I listened to for the first time. But jazz is definitely something I've been meaning to explore, and like dance music, house music. Anytime I listen to like old house music, it's like amazing, and I'm like, why am I not doing this more? So yeah, I've got to look into that too.
Yeah. Um, Moving on. So, on top of your personal projects, you also run the net label, the Fishbowl. So, what was your motivation for starting it, and then how would you say it's impacted like your work?
Um, so the Fishbowl, I remember kind of a while ago. I would say like I think it was like the fall of 2021. This was around when KG was kind of getting its start, and a lot of the artists, not a lot of the artists, but a decent amount of them didn't have anything like Alfred and Bruta Boy and maybe anyone else who I'm forgetting right now off the top of my head didn't have any like they had music, but it was like all on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. And the thing about that is like it's awesome to have that stuff on there. It's very Bandcamp is so convenient. It's like the most convenient thing you can do as an artist. It's because you can't upload directly to Spotify like you can Bandcamp. You have to do it through DistroKid, which I always thought was such a weird process. And my music wasn't on streaming either. So I was thinking to myself, hey, I want to put my music on streaming, but I also want to because the prices as far as like paying for several artists at the time, it wasn't that much more than paying for one. So I'm like, I want to be on streaming. I know a lot of my friends who I want to see on streaming, and I want to provide them with like the resources to do that and spread their music for free. And that was the kind of idea behind that. I had, I will admit, I had a lot bigger plans for it than it ended up turning out to be. Like I wanted to do like physicals and all that and shit like that. And didn't end up really working out, but well, I never even really tried. But I never looked into it. I would still like to do it, and I do still upload everybody's stuff, which is, I still really love doing that because so people like Jasmine Smoke, really, and Alfred, of course, really talented people in such like a diverse amount of genres that you know as cool as Bandcamp and SoundCloud are, most people aren't going to go out of their way to listen to it if it's not like convenient for them to like just look up on Spotify or Apple Music and put in their playlist. And you get so many more people like just paying attention to you when you put it on streaming. And I just felt like, me and my friends deserved that attention. So yeah, it was a fun little project. And as far as how it's influenced my music, I would say I guess it's made me a more collaborative person because that was, I mean, I really wanted to do like collab, like a lot of collab songs and albums with everyone who was like signed to the Fishbowl because I didn't do as much as I would have liked, but I did some fun songs with Alfred.
Hmm.
And I made an album with my friend Flynn, Digital Dreamscape. That was really fun. So yeah, I guess it just made me bit more of a collaborative person, and yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think having like a label or like a sort of like collective helps with that because you have people that you're like with on a more regular basis.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's really great for connections. Like it's fun to just be able to be like you remember Muscle Man and Regular Show? I was like, I know a guy.
Hmm.
Like I'm kind of I know I'm like that sometimes. Like, hey, I just happened like when Nathaniel B was popping off, for example, I would just be like, I'm friends with the person who made that meme. Fun fact. And they'd be like, you're fucking lying, dude. Like, I swear to God, they're very, very ashamed of it, but it's true.
Hmm. No, we talked about it in their interview actually. I don't know if you got that far into it,
Yeah,
but
I did. I got to that part because I saw Nathaniel B in the timestamp, and I couldn't miss out on that.
yes, that's memorialized forever now, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, so yeah, having a collective is just it definitely inspires you a lot as an artist to just be like closer with like these people and God, I remember when Bob Fest and KG Fest happened kind of back to back, like a few months apart, but I remember that was so inspiring for me just to see all of those people in that same sphere doing such amazing things and such a young group of people too. That was what I wanted to recreate.
Hmm.
And you know, I will say it's not as much as I would have liked, but I'm still providing that platform to people for free. So, and that's all I wanted to do in the first place. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I have a similar mindset for like running Hidden Driveway just because like now all these artists have like interviews out there and stuff that people can go like look into them for. And like that didn't
Yeah.
exist like prior to this year. So
Yeah, I think it's a really cool thing because, a lot of these people are such like really talented artists who are like really doing like some crazy new stuff. And I mean, it's kind of like a scene of its own developing. And it's really cool for me as someone who's been like watching it since like the Bob Father, since Isaacs was the Bob Father
hmm.
and was like dropping like all that early before he even made like dance music or anything like that. So then I've just watched it, and back when I remember Bappy before the elevator, like so it's crazy to me to see like all these people like connect and make all this stuff and get all these platforms and the KG Communion show. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it, but all the clips I saw looked amazing, and it was just like it was beautiful to see that come into emergence. And I think your platform is a really good way to preserve that kind of community.
Thank you. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do you in particular because I feel like you're not as like prevalent now as you were before, just because you've gotten more
Yeah,
busy with like your personal life and stuff. But you're definitely a very
yeah,
important part of this scene, especially with the Fishbowl and having all those artists like be on streaming. You definitely deserve to have that like platform. So
yeah. Thank you.
yeah, it's been like weird to watch just because like I've known some people since like bootleg. I've known them since like 2015 or like Carter since 2015,
Oh, yeah.
and seeing how that's like. So we had our own little like circle in like 2020, 2021, and then like KG popped up, and then like KSC last year, and it just keeps like growing and
Dude,
growing.
yeah.
So
Dude, when I was in class, I would like look at the Links Club list and I would be like, this is so mysterious. So cool.
I'm
It's
so
very
sad that we
fascinating
never did
stuff.
like anything with Links Club though. Like, cause it was a group chat and we talked in it every day, but in terms of like actual like collaboration stuff, like it didn't really go as far as it could have.
Dude, dude, I think that I think it would still be cool to like try out because you have some very, very talented artists. Like when I first saw that like little collective on Radio Music, I was like, holy shit, like these are some like to me at least, there were some big names that I'm like, wow, under the same umbrella. That was really cool to me.
Yeah, no,
And
it's
especially you, like you're a really great producer, but I don't feel like I've heard a lot by you. So it'd be awesome if you were like to collab with more people more often.
thank you. Yeah, actually, there is an album I've been working on that features like almost everyone I've interviewed on it, and I was making it before
Yeah.
Hidden Driveway also, so it's kind of weird how that worked out.
Yeah.
But so I've been doing stuff behind the scenes, but it's not out there just yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I would have loved Links Club to be more active. It's just like, especially after COVID ended, people got busy with their like real life stuff, and then
Oh yeah.
people also like left the collective, but they were still in the group chat. Cause like there was no falling
Oh,
out. We were all still friends, so they would just talk in the group chat, but didn't like participate in the like collective stuff. So that's kind of when it
I
like
don't get
died, I think.
how can you leave a collective that wasn't even like a collective?
No, like bootleg like left Links Club, but stayed in the group chat. It was just like, and you still work with everyone too. So like it was like, what's the point?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, especially people like Hagen or like ODBQ. I don't know if you checked out their stuff, but they're all super talented. But they're kind of in their own little like space. So I'd love to see them like come back and be more like integrated, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't checked out their stuff, but they seem really cool.
Yeah, Hagen is like he has the world's craziest like unreleased vault of all time. Like he's made like the best song ever like 5 different times, and he's never gonna drop any of them.
Dude, I hate when people do that shit. It's like, bro, you're not Kanye, you're not Cardi, just drop it, all right?
He just gets into these
Like
phases where he'll
respectfully.
like make a certain kind of music for a little bit, and it's always funny because he never fully
Yeah.
understands the style he's doing. Like a while ago, he tried making like or since 2022, he was making like plug beats, but it wasn't really plug like at all. It was kind of its own sound, and it was really crazy. He just never finished that. He started like so many different like EPs. He had a full album with Pastoria that never came out.
Damn.
Like there's so much stuff. So hopefully someday he starts dropping stuff again.
Yeah.
Looking into the future though, so despite the song's title, he released January and April of last year, and at least for me, January always feels like a fresh start, as the year's not something a blank canvas, right? So considering that 2024 is almost
Yeah.
over, what are some of your plans for 2025? What do you want to try to accomplish next year?
Okay, to address
Hmm.
the January thing, the original title for that song was January is the worst month ever because the I made it in January, first thing. And also it was like I have an intense distaste for January. Hate it, can't stand it. It's like bottom one month. And to me the song was like really gets across the vibe that I feel during January. But as far as future plans, I will be honest, like I have no idea. I was working on an album called God, it's literally been so long that I forget what it was called, but I'll show the cover because it was a really cool cover that Chloe did that I don't want to go to waste. So even if it doesn't come out ever, the cover still needs to be shown.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
I okay, oh yeah. Okay, so it was called Adventures Through Virtual Worlds Beyond Comprehension. And the idea was to be like this crazy like vaporwave like grandiose album. It was supposed to be like the grand finale to the vaporwave sound and hopefully me trying some other stuff. Now, there aren't many songs that I think I dropped like two singles from it under Virtual Shopper, which also, as far as future things go, I don't know what I'm doing with Virtual Shopper. I thought a reset would have been cool because I was feeling weird about the name, Roadman, and I was feeling weird about the aesthetics. Like I look at my stuff on streaming and I was like, this doesn't look right. But name changes is hard because people don't recognize you and they don't keep up with your new stuff. Like people know Roadman because fucking OVO jams and shit and Bob Fest and
Mm-hmm.
there's not really an album like that for Virtual Shopper. Dolphin Dream for some reason has the most ratings on Rate Your Music out of anything I've made, which is a little weird.
I think it's 'cause you dropped it in
But
January.
yeah, that's true. It was pretty high on the charts for a little bit. I was holding on to that. That was, but Rainforest Between Realms by Virtual Shop, which is I think is a little underrated. That's one of my favorite songs I've made. And Love Between Virtual Consoles. Those are made for that unreleased album that there's a bunch of other songs for
Mm-hmm.
it. There is a track list of like I just wrote down like cool titles. There's like 73. There's 73 cool titles on here that I thought would sound cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have one really weird, like futuristic sounding shit. Like one of them was like Adam 22 Cyborg. That's yeah, Adam 22 Cyborg. We have another one, McDonald's Moon Colony. That I did make that one, and it sounds really stupid. And I quit my job to become the Wii Golf World Champion. I wanted to make that one for so long, but yeah, that is an album I really want to make. And also, I'm feeling like revealing some stuff here. Chloe made me another cover. It was like a Lil Eyecrust cover for a mixtape that I wanted to make for a long time, and I still want to make, but I got around to like well, like two songs. Wait, I think this is it. Wait, no, that's not it. This is back when we were trying to get the feature from 10K. This is Dark Times. Okay, here it is. Here it is. This one's so good.
Oh yeah, that's sick. Yeah.
The theme was like gonna be me as like a mental patient imagining that I was a rapper. And
Mm-hmm.
the title was All My Ops Made Up, They Not Even Real. Because I'm also, you know, a suburban white boy, and
Mm-hmm.
that's also the thing that made it hard about lyrics with Lil Crest. It's like I want to rap like about the shit that like Ark's Kid Nephew does, but I would feel so lame doing it because it's like I just like go to school and work. I don't do you know, I don't have a lot of sex with random women. I have a girlfriend and I'm very respectful towards her. And I don't know, I go to work, I be nice, I read books. Like I can't really rap about like fun shit like that. So and I know it's a joke, but I would feel so lame doing that. But yeah, there's a lot of really weird like shit that I was working on for a while. But I unfortunately I don't have the time to work on music like that anymore. But I will say I'm not going to say any names because I don't know if they want me to keep this quiet. But there are two names that have been brought up in this interview already that we're working on a split
Yeah,
album.
I heard about that actually. Yeah.
Oh,
Because one of them
yeah,
told me, so I know what's up.
bro, I think I know who it was. Fucking snitch. But I haven't actually made anything for that yet because I think me and the guy who told you have been planning it for a while. But I would just like we should do something, and he was like, okay. And he never sent me anything for a while. He would just keep being like, I'm gonna send you the shit tomorrow, okay? And it would be like 6 months later, and he'd be like, yo, I'm gonna send you this tomorrow. And then like 2 weeks ago, he was no, it was more like 3 days ago. He was just like, you want to actually do it and add this guy on it, and so we'll see what happens with that. I haven't made an album since Sleepyhead and Dolphin Dreams, and Dolphin Dreams was not a long time in the making. I made that as a Christmas gift for my girlfriend in like a week, so that was a pretty quick one.
Hmm.
So I have a lot of stuff in the vault. There might be a Silly Side of Tape Volume 2. It exists. It is compiled. I don't know if I'm gonna drop it because it's way worse than the first one. But yeah, I've been working because when I was during my writer's block, I was really into making more music, but now I'm kind of on a musician's block. I don't really know where I'm gonna go from here. So plans as far as the future are up in the air. Like one day I'm like, I don't even want to do music anymore, and the next day I'm like, I want to drop like 500 albums.
Hmm.
So it's tough.
And then you've been talking about like a book through this interview. Is there anything with that you wanna?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've there's kind of been a passion project that I've been working on for a long time. It started as it was inspired by like I was in sixth grade, so it was inspired by really cringy shit like Naruto and Undertale. Still very dear to my heart, but also quite cringy. And it was kind of like this like fantasy death world kind of thing that was very like a shonen kind of thing. It was originally going to be an animated TV show that I was planning to pitch to Adult Swim. But as I got older, I realized that I don't want to write for a TV. I don't want to do TV show, especially today. If you've kept up with the
Hmm.
animation industry, it's
Yeah.
going down the shithole, and it gets worse like every year. Especially Adult Swim, like working for Warner Brothers, is a terrible, terrible idea right now. So I'm glad I read it was still gonna be a TV show until like 2 years ago when I read the Game of Thrones books And then I realized that that was the format I wanted them to be. So I'm currently working on, and I have a mentor that I've been working with who is already published, and he's giving me a lot of really great advice too, just like, what if they're all animals? So I'm working on an anthropomorphic animal magic warfare fantasy kind of story with like 1800s level technology and like Appalachian Southern culture. So it's like a I don't even know what the title is yet. I don't know what anything is yet. So I'm working on that like every day. I've restarted for like the third time already. So this is my trusty book it's in. Working on that right now. That's my main goal. Yeah, what that is.
Well, I'm excited to see whatever you end up doing next year. So,
Hopefully a lot of cool stuff. We will
mm-hmm.
see. Maybe this summer. Uh, maybe big things will come in the summer.
Okay. And then as the episode comes to a close, is there anything you'd like to give a shout out to?
I would like to give a shout out to, I've already shouted them out before, but Bodie, aka Slermpy, for probably being my biggest inspiration and biggest like push throughout this whole process. Chloe for being with me for so much of the art and also being one of the biggest supporters. It means a lot to have someone really genuinely enjoying your music, not just because they're your friend, just because they actually like it. I shout out my girlfriend, obviously. I love you, Shay. She's also a major supporter of my stuff. And dude, I have like a whole I don't know if you have the imposter syndrome tape or not, but I actually have a whole thank you note list on here, which some of these shout outs are still relevant. Some of these people I don't fuck with anymore though. But obviously Isaacs and everybody in KG, very big influence. Like if not for them, I wouldn't have dropped Bobfest or Imposter Syndrome or OVO Jams. And if not for them, those projects would not have gotten the level of success they did. So shout out to them. Shout out to my man. Fucking, I got a lot of guys on here to shout out. Shout out my IRL homeboys, even though they don't listen to my music. Shout out to them. We're gonna play Overwatch tonight. Shout out to Lee Harris, one of the gang from BBS gang. Like one of the only guys I really keep in touch with anymore from that era. He's on Finale. That was a big pull for me. He's the guy who raps about shitting in the Home Depot toilets. He's my guy. He was also one of my big starts for music. He's ridiculously talented, even if he keeps on deleting all his shit. I hate when people do that because like so much good stuff's been erased. But and shout out to my man Sakri. He's the one who gave me Ableton for free. So without him, none of this music would exist. Shout out Alfred. Shout out Bruder Boy. Shout out everyone in the Fishbowl for being cool as hell and making great music and being down to earth. And yeah, that's all the shout outs that come to mind.
All right, well, shout out all those people and shout out Roadman. Thank you for doing this today. I know it was a little bit of a time crunch, but I'm glad we were able to make it work.
No, it's cool.
But yeah, so all those links will be in the description down below if you'd like to go check out his music if you haven't already. And there's a thing that's been in there, but someone asked me about it and it already exists, so I guess I'll just start saying it now. But there's also like a Spotify and SoundCloud playlist with like 3 songs from each artist I've interviewed. So if you want to have like an intro to Roadman's music, I'll have 3 songs in there for you to go check out. And is there anything else that you would like to say?
Let's see, what can I plug real quick? If you want to listen to my music, maybe listen to the new More If You Get album that came out in May, Sleepyhead LP, because that one, as I said, did not get enough attention. And also, no, it's about it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, well, I'm Amu. This has been the Hidden Driveway Show. Goodbye.
Bye.